not a YouTuber, just like making videos, and you read the title, My Conversation with a 40-year-old black stripper. Now, as a disclaimer, I'm not talking about all black women. You know, this particular stripper was an individual. She's an individual in mind, and she's an individual in body. You know, and I know that the majority of the strippers, especially in my city, are white women, white females that wear weave and have tattoos. There's about 20 strip clubs in my city. Only like 3 of them is, predominantly black. Others do have black strippers, but they're mainly, they're mainly populated with white exotic dancers, and cater to white patrons. So let me get this out of the way. Get that out of the way. My conversation with a 40-year-old black stripper. Now, it's very important that I mentioned her age and I mentioned her race. You know, you got to watch the video. Watch this video in its entirety. So, now this female, she's very attractive, very articulate, very young looking for her age. I'm like, she could be older than 40. She carries herself well. At first glance, she seemed intelligent, like she has class about herself. She actually lives in the same housing division as my sister and her husband. I've seen her. I've seen her drive around in a nice BMW. It's not the latest model, but it's nice and clean. And my sister's housing division is located in the Arlington and Southport area, and if anybody who lives in Indianapolis knows that it's a pretty nice area. Like, it's not a super high caliber suburb, but it's a good place to raise your kids. So I see this female at a bar. Me and my friend. So I didn't meet her at the strip club. We was actually at a regular bar. I think it was Wild Beaver Saloon. I normally hang out at the living room lounge, but I'm gonna tell you how living room lounge comes into play. So we're talking about Prince. We're we're having this conversation. She joins in the conversation. We're talking about Prince, these conspiracies going out. How he died, did they kill him, and so forth. And then I said, I was talking to her. I said, hey, I recognize you. Don't you live around Southport and Arlington and drive a BMW? She was like, yeah, I got a home there. I'm like, yeah. I said, my sister lives over there. When I go visit her and my nephews and nieces, I see you, driving around looking, styling and profiling in your BMW, looking like a star. And then she started, laughing and giggling and touching me, a little, that little touch females give you. Now, she was attractive. She is beautiful. I said was as in past tense, but she is. She looks like a cross between Whitney Houston and Eve, the rapper Eve. And she kind of has a voice similar to what's that? Stacey Dash. Just her voice part. She has very beautiful skin. She looks like a woman that takes care of herself. But then my friend said, he said to her, he says, wasn't you a bartender at the living room lounge? Aren't you a bartender at the living room lounge? And then I said, yeah, I think I did see her at the living room lounge. I didn't know if she was a bartender or not. And then she said, yes, but I only worked there through the stipulations of my probation. I mean, this female was on probation or parole at some point, and she says since she was on probation or whatever, or parole or whatever, no, probation, yeah, probation. Parole is when you get off early. Probation. That she couldn't be you can't be a stripper and be on probation or whatever, and that she had to be at home at a certain time. So she kind of. So now I'm finding out that she's a stripper and she runs in with the law. So she kind of seems like her lifestyle is, unstable. But, I know strippers make a whole lot of money and so forth. But, this was a Saturday night when we had this conversation. And then I said to her, I said, well, it's Saturday night and the firefighters are in town. I mean, last weekend we had a firefighter convention. Them guys like to go out and drink and go to the titty bar, as they'll say, as white people say it. And then she said, yeah, I was working tonight, but I got off early because I wasn't making any money. And I said, you wasn't making any money off the firefighters? And she was like, well, I'm like, she's like, I work at the Red Garter. She works at which is a predominantly white strip club populated by white entertainers and white patrons, white bartenders, white staff, and so forth. And she's like, well, and these guys, they want, white, barely legal, blonde-headed girls and so forth. But I'm like, you can't get mad at a white person for preferring their own kind. She went as far as calling these white dudes racist. And I'm like, well, why are you working at a white strip club and you can work at a black strip club? I didn't tell her that, and so forth. But I did say that, hey, aren't black females a fetish to a lot of white guys? And she said, yeah, to a lot of the business types and so forth. And that's who the types that are kind of attracted to me. Because she was very her arrogance was beginning to show. And she was very smug. Now, bear in mind, now, this is a 40-year-old stripper that had run-ins with the law, And she said the firefighters, the blue-collar types with round bellies, they're not really interested in black girls and so forth because they're racist. And then she went to, when people drink, they start to talk. Then she was telling us about the other strip club she worked at. She said, oh, I worked at Brass Flamingo, they're dirty. I worked at PT Show Club, they're a joke. And bear in mind, all these are all predominantly white, strip clubs, whereas mainly white strippers and mainly white people showing up there. Now, are there some black girls that work in these places? Yes. Are there some black men who frequent these places? Yes, But then I told her, I said, well, have you ever thought of worked at the Sunset, which Sunset Strip is the premier black strip club in the city. And she stated that, yeah, I started out stripping there, and when I was still a teenager in 1995. That's where I got her age from. I'm like, she started stripping. I'm like, this is an OG. This is a Purple Star veteran when it comes to stripping. She started out in the 90s. She started out stripping when people were still watching pornography on VHS tape. When the O.J. Simpson trials dominate news circulation. But she said she couldn't work at the Sunset because, they get too rowdy there. They start shooting, which that is sort of true. She says the females there are very spiteful. They bring sawed-off shotguns back to the dressing room. These females will put a nail polish remover in your clothes. I'm like, that's only something women can do or think of, putting nail polish remover in your clothes. And she's talking about, they're wretched there, they're really ghetto, and all it is dope boys. The females just stand around all day, and then at 1 o'clock, the dope boys show up and start throwing money. And those black girls sell their pussy, and I can't live like that. I guess she want to have certain integrity about herself. I guess you're from the old school, trying to bring it back to the classic strip clubs of the 60s. I don't know. But, just like she's talking real greasily about the black strip club. I mean, once again, seems like she's kind of looking down on black people. So I'm like, so that's crazy. And so then we started talking about race for her. And she said that she was married to a white guy for 13 years. And had 2 kids by him and so forth. And then she stated that I'm down with my brothers. And she said that I will never date or marry a white guy again. But she works at a strip club where she's going to be giving white dudes blue balls all day and and been close. She says she's down with the brothers. She's not gonna mess around with any white dudes anymore. Because she started going in on her marriage. You know, that's how it is. You know, when you're hanging out at the bar and people are drinking, you know, they tend to talk. They'll tell you their whole life story. She was married to a white guy, and she admitted she married a white guy for money, an older white man. You know what I'm saying? So, but you know what I'm saying? So all this transpired over the process of the last 20 years. So I'm assuming that when she married him, she was a lot younger, probably in her 20s. Probably met her at a strip club. You know, she was probably very, like she looked good now, but she was definitely probably a knockout then. She married this white guy now, and she stated that her ex-husband wasn't racist, but her husband, when she's around her husband's family, that they'll make sly kind of racial remarks. I'm like, they want to just call her a nigger, you know, things of that nature. And her husband never defended her. And her husband would laugh at some of the jokes that she deems offensive, you know, about her race, you know, and so forth. And that sounds familiar. And, you know, and that's the thing, that her husband never stood up for her. And then she said that most white men are racist, because white men come to her all the time and state that that they like black women, but they don't like black men. You know, and she said that she'll defend the brothers, and she talked about the brothers as we was a different race. She's like, oh, I would, which I doubt she was does much defending, especially if she's in a strip club and she just wants to, you know, them give her all the money. She defended the brothers, but then she stated that, but still, a lot of these black men need to wake up and stop fucking white girls. And I'm like, well, you're being sort of a hypocrite. Because you married a white dude. You married a white dude for money. You just told us that. You know, and so forth. And she was like, yeah, but you know what I mean? It's not all glitz and glamour as they say. As if it's a popular belief or popular consensus amongst black women that if you marry a white man, that your life is going to be better. That they're going to treat you like a queen. Matter of fact, on Miss Archduchess channel, man, she made a video that I came close to responding. She literally stated, Miss Archduchess, Miss Pro Black, stated that she said, face it, when black women get with white men, you know what I'm saying, they do a whole lot better, you know, and that's the thing. So, with this black female who is definitely have corrupted morals, now I can see how can she afford her lifestyle, because she looked like she's doing the strip club shuffle. You know, the nice house, the cars, you know, this white, you know, after the divorce or whatever, you know, she probably getting money for child support, money for alimony and things of that nature. You know, and this is what she's probably looking for when she was younger. You know, now that she's older or whatever and she's kind of taken care of, I'm like, she probably still needs to strip for extra income, you know what I mean, if she won't go completely broke, because she didn't seem like the type of person that actually want to work a real job. And I'm not saying stripping is easy, but it's just, you know what I mean, she was working at the living room lounge, and she don't seem like somebody that's just gonna, you know what I'm saying, you know, do hard labor, you know, or, you know what I'm saying, or do some sort of desk job where she seemed like the type of person that has to work a job where she's somewhat kind of free and always going to have a drink in her hand sipping on something. She does seem like an avid drinker, you know. But yeah, I'm like, that's the thing. So it's like, you know what I'm saying, I'm thinking, I'm like, man, this is the type of black female that, you know, a lot of us are talking about. You know, I don't like using the term bed wench, but went after a white guy because, you know, he had money or whatever, thought that would afford him a better life. And, but even though she probably got something out of the deal, she's a myth stripper, you know, bottom line. And now she's in a situation where she has to compete with these young white girls or whatever, because I know she doesn't want to go and compete with the black girls. I'm like, these young black girls, and I think that's the main reason why she don't want to work at a predominantly black strip club. I'm like, I'm like, these young black girls' bodies are ridiculous. People say that, these white girls got ass too now. But yeah, but black women asses are getting fatter. I understand that there's fake asses out there, but still, there are black women out there with ridiculous bodies, natural. And you know what I'm saying, I went to the strip club the other day and some young black piece of tinder put it on me so bad. Afterwards, you know what I'm saying, I had to go to the hospital. But I don't know, you know what I'm saying, it was an interesting conversation. It was interesting. That's all I can say about that. But thanks for watching, and you know, I'm saying, never stop learning.